Leafs trying to avoid a fourth straight playoff exit to Boston in the final minute of the second. Scores! William Nylander through traffic, and the Leafs have the lead. Loose in front, Joseph Walls got it. Game saver for Walls.
Nylander breakaway. Nylander Deeks scores!
William Nylander doubles down. Leafs are going to force Game 7.
Well, we've got ourselves our first Game 7 of this Stanley Cup Playoffs. It'll happen tomorrow night at Boston as Toronto staved off elimination thanks to a brilliant performance in goal by Joseph Woll. And also William Nylander coming through as the hero. Remember, Austin Matthews hasn't played since, what, the second period of Game 4? And now William Nylander put the team on his back, scored both goals. And Toronto, I got to give it to him. I thought Boston was going to for sure win last night. And Toronto put all the doubts of their home playoff success or lack thereof aside. What stood out most to you, Johnny?
Well, I think beyond Nylander, beyond Wall, who are the two standout players for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Maple Leafs, in their recent history, have had a hard time playing tight games, staying with games sort of mentally and with their decision-making long enough to be able to win low-scoring, low-event affairs against teams like Boston, against teams exactly named Boston for many years. And I think not only their commitment to defense and battling, which you expect them to do, and blocking shots and, you know, being good on the boards, but they stayed with it, Daniel. And they haven't always. I don't think they gave up. Literally, there wasn't one odd man rush in the entire game for Boston. They just are playing a more conservative style, which is not their personality and not their strength, but it's given them a chance to win. And I give them credit for being able to do that for the entire game, 60 full minutes, twice in a row.
I agree with you. I'm flabbergasted in a good way for the Leafs, their commitment through 60 minutes these last couple of games to just play relentless and block every shot and win the majority of their 50-50 battles along the wall, just doing everything to stifle the Boston Bruins offense, which they've done the last two games. But for me, it's about desperation and compete in the playoffs. We can have all the skill in the world, but I think we talked about it off air, and you mentioned it, with all the talent the Toronto Maple Leafs have, to be able to commit to this style right now and understanding, yeah, we're missing Matthews, so maybe we're missing 69 goals in the lineup. We're only going to win these games 2-1, 3-2, 1-0 type games, and they're playing it to a T. I mean, they are playing a heavy game. I look at the Nyes and McCabe on the back end and Edmondson. We can go on down the list. Holmberg, every guy is playing hard. Yeah. Pretty simple. I mean, you think you're supposed to play hard in the playoffs. That's not always the case. Right. With a lot of teams, a lot of individuals, and certainly the Toronto Maple Leafs, kind of what you alluded to, Mike. So it's been impressive.
Different applications of how they play hard. I think it's like hard trying to score or hard making sure you do the right things, you don't get scored against, which is interesting. And a lot of people talk, well, now, is the pressure on Boston? Has it flipped where Boston feels pressure? And, of course, Boston feels pressure now. Game 7, there's an elimination game. They did it last year where they blew a 3-1 lead after an incredible year. Now they're in the position to maybe be the first team to ever do that 2 years in a row, blowing 3-1 leads. So there's a lot of pressure on Boston. But I think for both teams, there is so much riding on the outcome of Game 7. And it's not even how you play. It's just the outcome. Like, if Boston does not win and they happen to go down 2 years in a row, Jim Montgomery's been testy as of late. We know Boston is an impatient market. They have this great regular season 2 years in a row and they can't get out of the first round after being up 3-1. For Toronto, Sheldon Keefe's been around longer. We know about their struggles getting out of the first round. They happened the first time last year, but it hasn't happened forever. I don't think it matters that Toronto's battled back for a 7th game. If they lose, it's the same result and the same fallout as if they lost Game 5. So both teams, both coaches, both management teams, everybody understands what's at stake. If you lose tomorrow night, these teams will go through significant changes. Yeah. Whatever that means, significant changes. And if you win, it's an entirely different script. Like it's amazing how much is on the line. It's awesome.
Viewership for this series should be off the charts because it has so much intrigue. Everything you're saying, it's not easy to beat a team 3 times in a row as good as the Boston Bruins and as good as they were the last few regular seasons, and to play the same style and and that commitment. That's going to be interesting to see. Can the Leafs have that same commitment and recipe that has given them success the last couple of games? So much intrigue here. Can Joseph Woll continue to play the way he's been playing? And is Austin Matthews going to be in the lineup?
He's not going to be. Well, where's Pasta? When Pasta's been called up by his coach and says, we need more from David Pastrnak. And they do, because if you think about the series, if it's not Marchand and if it's not McAvoy sort of controlling play, it's got to be Pastrnak. He's their best, most talented player. In the context of a tight defensive game, he's got to find a ways to make a difference. He hasn't done it to the degree that he has throughout the regular season, the way he has against Toronto. So I would expect him to have a really big bounce-back performance. Last thought, Jamie, 2013, 2018, the series between Toronto and Boston went the exact same way. Boston game 1, Toronto game 2, Boston 3-4, Toronto 5-6. And both of those ended with Boston winning game 7. It's even the exact same recipe.
It up for more heartbreak for Leafs.
That's too much for my mind to comprehend.
We'll see.
I want more from McAvoy, too.
I love calling out Pasta because I think the best players are okay with being called out. They're going to show up. He'll have a hat trick tomorrow or something. Like, let's just see. But it's going to be fun either way.
That's why they play the games.